So here we go with part 2 of this painting of Droggz da Sunchompa. We're starting off with the wolf skin here, guys. Now, when I started this, I wanted the wolf to look not so much as like a big white wolf, but have more of that sort of brownish greyish undertone. And for this, I've added in graphite to Afro Shadow for very much the first part of the skin. Now I want to push this quite sort of light. I'm going to push it all the way up to blue grey here, but I want this to look a little bit different from the main fur, which we're going to do brighter, and I want to leave more of those brown tones in between these highlighted areas. So the first part is to paint the very bright whitish parts on the skin, which are these parts here, which is the front part of the face and the top, and all the bottom parts of the legs and the feet. Now, in between each colour here, I mix up an in-between colour of what I've painted and what I've just painted, and blend in between each one with sort of quite thin dilute layers, and then I push more and more of the blue grey into pushing it towards the white areas. Now, with the main parts of what we call the skinny parts here, the darker skin parts, I'm actually using the same colours here, but I'm starting off with Afro Shadow and just putting very little graphite in, so we get a sort of greyish brown colour here. And I'm painting this more with a sort of liney feel, so we get a sort of feeling of like a fur texture, but quite lighter than like the main fur of the wolf. And what I do is I push more and more graphite into this and build up those textures nearer and nearer the tops and where the brighter spots would be on this wolf. As you can see here on the thigh, I'm pushing it to the top area of the thigh and just the top edge of the knee. And we also paint the ears with the same colours here. So we get sort of like a 3-coloured wolf at the end of it. So next up is painting the wolf fur, which is one of the most fun parts of the model to paint here. And it's done very much like I did the wolf pelt in the first video. We start off here with Afro Shadow with quite a bit of blue grey. So this is quite a light starting point for this, much lighter than we painted the skin fur that we did in the first part here. And to this, I'm just going to add in more and more white to push certain areas very sort of light and bright. And like all fur and hair, we start off painting big chunks, and then we start getting down to painting towards the ends and smaller, more individual hairs as we get lighter and lighter, and this gives us that really nice contrast and feeling of light across the model. So for painting the leathers on this wolf, I'm using a sort of recipe that I've just used quite a lot across a Blood Bowl team that I found, and that is over the Afro Shadow. I come straight in here with pure dark rust from AK Interactive, and what I'm trying to do here is I'm laying down the foundations here, as you can see, of where the brightest parts will be and how the texture is going to work across each element. Now to this I add in more and more yellow to highlight the parts which I want to stand out the most. But in between that first layer, what I've just done there was I mix up Afro Shadow and Dark Rust just to blend in between those two layers. Coming in with the highlights now, it's it's almost a yellow here, and we're just trying to get them a sort of, it creates a sort of orangey yellow highlight, which works really well for this sort of dark leathery look. So we've got these lovely parts of red armour on the wolf, and I wanted to paint those a little bit differently to the reds we've done previously. So what I've come in with here is straight in with burnt red over Afro Shadow, which works really well for reds. I really like using Afro Shadow now for a lot of things. It reminds me a lot of Rhinox hide, but a lot flatter, a lot matter. But it works for so many things which you can use as a base colour. Now, once I've got the burnt red laid down everywhere I want to show the highlights, I add in more and more matte red until I get up to almost a pure matte red towards the end. And that's going to give us this quite a nice flattish leathery looking red once we finish this part. So on to painting the banner now, and I've split this up into a few different elements. So all the rounded sort of wood elements and that sort of make up the circle part on the back, I wanted to paint those with a much lighter wood, so we can sort of differentiate those between this wood and the wood that's actually holding this element up. So if I painted them all the same wood, it would just sort of get lost a bit, I felt. So this was very easily done with the first layer being pure mahogany from AK, and then I've added in more and more buff to the mix and just focused the lights on the center parts and just the end pieces of the wood that's poking out. Now for the dark wood, I've taken a very different approach here. So the wood we've done for the light wood looks quite a sort of orangey, browny sort of red, brown. And for the dark wood, I wanted to make this more of a sort of an ochre yellowy type wood. So for this, the base color was dark brown, which is very different to mahogany. It's much more desaturated and nowhere near as sort of bright as mahogany. And then again, I've added in buff for the highlight areas, and all I'm trying to do here is paint the little grains of wood and making them smaller and smaller with each layer that I add to give it more of a sort of wood texture and give it a real sort of different look to that wood that is above it. Now, one of the focal points of this model is this fantastic banner piece, and at the back, at the top, it's got this sort of big, jagged, almost sun-looking metallic part. So I wanted to do this very similar to the box art, if I could. So I've come in here again with the sun red from AK Interactive. Now, as I said before, this colour takes a lot of layers to really get any good coverage. But when you get there, it's absolutely worth it. This colour is really such a gorgeous colour. It's sort of an orangey red, but really works well for what we're trying to do here, this sort of metallic red look. So once I've got that in place, I then sort of like blend in between. I added a second layer which was sun red and lemon yellow, and then here I've mixed up an in-between mix so we can sort of blend between the two and sort of feather out that transition so there's a smooth gradient going up towards the center of this object. Now I start adding in more and more lemon yellow at the end here, and I'm pushing those highlights up and towards the center. So what I end up is getting this centerpiece here very, very bright, and the outside bottom edges are going to be a lot darker so that you know, we'll get this real visual appearance of this bright part sort of really pushing towards the top of the model. Now at the end here, I come in with burnt red, and I've mixed that down to a glaze, very thin, and then glaze those bottom edges to give more of a dark feel there. Now for the edge highlighting, which really makes this object pop, is I've added in buff to the original mixture, and I just carefully go around all the edges here, and at the end here you can see that this really helps this object stand out and gives it great contrast. Now next up is the actual banner parts themselves, and what I've done here is it's similar to the upper object. I want them brighter at the top and darker at the bottom. So the first thing is to come in and lay down burnt red where I want the darkest area to be. Now I come in with matte red and paint the lighter areas. So the top half is going to be very much matte red, a sort of much more brighter saturated red. And then I want that to fade into the darker red at the bottom, which you can see here I've mixed up an in-between tone, and I just feather the gap or the line where those two colours meet. Now this can take quite a few layers to get the blend to be smooth, but it's very much worth it at the end. Then at the end, I'm coming in, I add lemon yellow into the mix, and very similar to what we did on the metallic part above, I'm just pushing in the edge highlights with this brighter colour. And this helps to really make this pop and stand out. Now doing the freehand on these parts was very, very simple. I just mixed up white with I think a little tiny bit of burnt red and just drew the shape on. Now painting these skulls, I've done these very much in the normal way I do them. So over the Afro Shadow base colour, I make a mix up of Afro Shadow and dark blue green with maybe a little touch of buff in it, and it gives me this very sort of off a greeny grey sort of colour. It's hard to describe really, but what I do is I quite heavily paint in the main areas of light. Then as I'm doing here, I come back in with an in-between tone and just blend that into the Afro Shadow. This tends to work best for me when I'm doing skulls and horns and things. It gives me that really nice look of, it's not quite ivory, but they definitely look sort of bone-like. Now, once I've got that all in place, I then come in with more and more buff on each mix, and I'm going through the same process every time. I block in quite bright highlights, as you can see here, and then I mix an in-between mix and just blend between the two. This always seems to work really nice for bones and skulls and tusks, and always gives me a really nice finish. And what I tend to do a lot of the time is with one of the sort of mid-tone mixes, not quite here yet, we're still doing highlights and blending, but I tend to sort of give an overall glaze, just a couple of colours, a couple of coats, which really helps to smooth them out and give them more of that sort of bone type look, which is what we're after. Now the final part of the model is the base, and for this again it's all over Afro Shadow. What I've done is I've come in with sort of gnawed bone mixed in with some Afro Shadow, and I'm using an old makeup brush here and just dry brushing the whole area. And once this is all done, I come in with a speed paint from Army Painter called Warrior Skin, and I put that up, and as you can see it takes a while to dry, so I can just carry on painting. Now for the main rocks, I two colours that I've used here are medium sand, not medium sand, it's medium rust, not medium sand, and beige. So the first mix is a mix of medium rust and beige for all the top parts of the rock. So I fully cover those. Took about 3 layers to get a good coverage on those. And then for the bottom parts, I did some highlighting, some rough highlighting first, as you can see here, just to get the basic shapes and a bit of contrast towards the tops of the rocks. And this was just with more and more beige added in. Now, once I got that all set how I wanted it, I come in with pure medium rust here and paint all the bottom parts of these rocks. Now, it's going to look a little bit messy and a little bit rough at first, but we're trying to just block in colour here of where we want it to be, and just feeling like where I want this sort of orangey tone to really start and stop. Now, once I'd got that all in place, I've done some in-between mixes here of adding a little bit more beige into that medium rust, and just start glazing and blending over where the medium rust colour meets the beige tone. Now, highlighting here, I was done in 2 stages. For the medium rust part, I used that original mix with some beige in it. So I just came over here with just painting on the edges, the cracks, the lines, and things like that. And then I went back with a sort of dark brownish mix towards the bottom. So this was just adding more afro shadow in.